single day. I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
The 350Z, the good old 350Z. Greetings guys, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Saturday Stories. On this one, we're gonna talk about how I got that thing right there. So in terms of the story about how I got this car in particular, this is kind of a continuation of the previous episode of Saturday Stories, in terms that you may know from watching that episode that I've developed this love affair of Nissan rear-wheel drive vehicles from a while, or from a long time ago. And what had happened after I had my first Z, my 300ZX, the Z32 that I had shown you in the previous video, is that I ended up having to get rid of it due to needing a more reliable car for transportation and for commuting with my college career, which did involve many years because I did an undergrad and a grad school program. So for the longest time, I didn't really have a quote-unquote fun car after getting rid of my Z32. And I had gotten married after, actually during grad school, and was finally, after I finished grad school and had a job or got a job and was in the workforce and living with my wife, trying to start or started our family and then trying to start our further family in terms of our children, I was always itching for a fun car. So the story here is more so humorous in terms of I was so much itching for a new car that literally I was every single day on the forums, on Craigslist, on Facebook. I was constantly looking for a car, and I wanted to get something cheap that I would enjoy, because I knew I didn't want to spend money on something expensive, because this was going to be not a car for me to daily drive, as obviously when I commute to work, I just take my daily. So the 350Z actually, truthfully speaking, does not get driven all that much. So I wanted to get a car that was in decent shape, that I didn't have to do a lot of work on, but that I could do some work on in terms of obviously getting it for a lower value. And I didn't mind if it was going to be high mileage, because I knew that so long as it's sound, I can take care of it, and I'm not going to drive it all that much. This car actually gets driven less than 3,000 miles a year. So the humor was that I was searching for a car for so long that it became so, I don't want to say the word annoying to my wife, but it got to the point where my wife got so tired of me every single day for months and months looking for a car and test driving cars and things of that nature, that she was like almost begging me. She's like, just buy something. I don't care what you buy, just buy something so that you can stop looking for cars and spend your time, you know, a little bit more wisely, as opposed to just looking at computer screens every single evening. So that's the humor behind the story. Now, in terms of why I got the 350Z, so I originally started actually during these months of searching looking for an RX-8. Something about, so I drive a Mazda as my daily, and something about, I'm actually on my third Mazda. I've been very happy with Mazda vehicles, and something about that made me kind of want to look into the RX cars. Now, obviously, also being a fan of the Fast and Furious movies, and in particular Tokyo Drift, as you may know from the previous Saturday Stories episode, yeah, I would love to have an RX-7, an FD, but realistically speaking, and financially speaking, that's just not the case. So because of that, I was like, well, I could probably get an RX-8 for quite cheap. So I actually looked into getting an RX-8, but with the rotary engine and the fact that I knew the car was going to sit for a lot of the time and not necessarily get driven, I was a little skeptical of the maintenance and me keeping up with all the issues that rotary engines kind of come with. But at the same token, I really thought it'd be cool to get involved with the rotary engine, and I still think it's cool, and that still might be something that I do in the future, because I really do think it'd be cool to have an RX-8 with a rotary just for fun, and obviously you can get them cheap. But in any case, so I ended up actually test driving an RX-8, and the one that I looked at out of the many that I had seen online, something about it just didn't click with me necessarily. And in that particular car that I looked at, it just had some issues. It would have needed a little bit more work than I was prepared to put in. Prepared in terms of time, because my time with my wife and children and work is valuable to me, obviously. So ended up kind of switching gears, and there was a really cool 350Z locally that was freshly painted that I ended up driving, and the car looked beautiful. The price was not that much. It looked beautiful because it had a fresh paint job, and cosmetically it was taken care of, had some rims on it and so forth, but mechanically it wasn't sound. When I test drove it, the clutch had issues, the exhaust had issues. I can't remember, you know, what other else issues it had, because it was many years ago, but as soon as I started driving it and shifting, I was like, no, I'm not getting this. But after test driving it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get back into Nissan. So then I started looking at Nissans, and eventually I found this car not too far from me in the neighboring state in New Jersey, and the seller of this was such an awesome guy. You know, it was such a good experience. For the life of me, I can't remember his name. I've had this car for 3-4 years now, and I just cannot remember what his name was, but it was very genuine. He was forthcoming with everything. I test drove the car. The car has a lot of miles on it, so part of the reason why I got it at a good deal. It had 176,000 miles on the motor when I got it. However, the motor was sound. It felt good. It drove good. There was some issues with the car in terms of some stuff that it needed, that was all stuff that I could take care of, but also helped obviously keep the price low. It needed some suspension work, some sway bar links. It had some wub sounds in the back when I test drove it. Initially I thought it was a hub bearing, but ended up being one of the bushings on the control arm actually was completely shot, so it was just moving back and forth, so the wheel was actually moving back and forth. But in any case, when I test drove it, I was able to say this is the car for me, because it was at a good price point. I actually paid $5,500 for it. It had stuff that needed work, but that was stuff that I could do myself and that I was going to enjoy doing myself. Most everything I do in terms of work on my cars myself. Mostly the only time that my cars see an actual mechanic is just for inspections, or, you know, new tires, alignment, things like that, because I don't have a tire machine or you know, a perfect way of aligning cars. But in any sense, it was exactly what I was looking for, and it has been awesome throughout the years for me in terms of how I use the car, sparingly driving it for fun, and it is dialed. If you aren't aware of what type of mods or everything that the car has that's been done to it, check out one of my videos in the channel. Just search for it, where I go over all of the mods that have been done to this car. But this car is just dialed, so I don't have any plans of really ever getting rid of it. It's going to be something that I'm going to continue to enjoy driving, and continue to be my kind of channel car, if you will. But in any case, hope you enjoyed this newest episode of Saturday Stories. If you have any questions about the car or anything at all, as always, just drop a comment down below, guys, and I'll be sure to get back to you. I'll see you in the next one. By the way guys, I never really intended to vlog much on this channel as I've said in the past. However, let me know if you're enjoying these vlog style videos. Drop a comment down below to let me know what you think of them, and also if there's anything in particular that you want me to cover or talk about, any sort of stories or questions that you would like to hear on one of these vlog style videos, let me know below. I'll be very happy to obviously vlog or answer questions in particular about what you're interested in hearing about from me. Thank you. By the way guys, I've never during one of these vlog